Good evening, everybody. There is a lot of network issue here. It is raining heavily, so hope I am audible. Am I audible? Yes, we'll go ahead. गुरुभ्यो नमः. ज्ञानानन्दमयं स्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां हयग्रीवम्. Welcome you all back to this online lecture series over Nirok Street. Today we'll try to finish the first chapter and know what is Saransha of this first chapter, that is synopsis. Why the first chapter was named so and all we have studied in the beginning, but what is the intention of adding so many concepts in this chapter and making this chapter so elaborate, more and more by Tikakaras? That means the first chapter, we'll try to analyze what is that. धी धैर्यादि आत्मादि विज्ञानम मनोदोषौषधम param. After understanding the treatment principles of Sharirika dosha and its related treatment principles, now about knowing the mano adhishtita doshas, because the vyadhi are of nija and agantu bheda, and they are seated either in kaya or in manas. So kayika adhishtana related treatment principles we have studied, like basti, vamana, virechana, taila, ghrita and madhu prayoga in vata, pitta and kapha. Similarly, what is the treatment line in mano adhishtita vyadhis? For that, dhi dhairyatmadi vijnanam param. This is the quotation given. Now, what do we mean by dhi, dhairya, atma and ityadi? There are four important categories we need to do padacheda and understand. Dhi is buddhi and bahya adhyatmika bhavas. So by acting with the buddhi, what we have in Charaka, while explaining about the importance of manas and buddhi, buddhi pashyati ya bhavan bahukarana yogajan yuktis trikala sadneyaha. That is what the importance is given. So buddhi always supersedes over manas and no related vishayas. So buddhi and bahya adhyatmika bhavas, hita and ahita discrimination. The person, if he wants to get rid of the manasika vyadhis, discriminate between what is good and what is bad, is known as dhi. The second one is dhairya. Dhairya is one wherein stableness or dhritish chetasaha sthiratvam achapalam. So sthirata in everything, sthirata in understanding, sthirata in getting the rid of vyadhi, maintaining the normal health and continuing with the prescription whatever given by the physician. So that is dhairyam. Then next one is atmadi vijnaniyam. Atma vijnana means yogabhyasa, samadhi, up to that level, ashtanga yoga, prayoga, wherein when the person reaches the samadhi yoga, then he will try to understand the swarupa jnana. What is the purpose of me coming to this universe and what sadhana I should do, and I should get rid of my purva janma. In Charaka Vimanasthana 3rd chapter, while narrating about Janapadodhnosa Vijnaniyam, there it is explained that for all vyadhis, all Sharirika, Manasika, Agantu, Nija, whatever the type of same cause of all vyadhi is only So adharma itself becomes the causative factor for punah punah janma prapti. So punah punah janma prapti happens because of adharma janya karma phala, and to do karma phala nasha, till then the punarjanma keeps taking place. Once karma phala is ashesha, there is no residue of karma phala, and only uttama karma are being satkarma are being performed by the individual, then he may achieve the moksha, that is apunarbhava ruchyate. So these are helpful in getting rid of manovyadhis also. So atma vijnanam is analyzing, understanding the purpose of the life, for what we are living in this universe, and acting accordingly is all possible through yoga abhyasa, that is all ashtanga yoga up to samadhi level. Once we come to know about the swarupa jnana of individual, then the person can attempt through samadhi ityadi utkrishta yoga abhyasa, can analyze Paramatma Swarupa also. Once Paramatma Swarupa is known, then that is the ultimate aim to achieve moksha. That is what is believed, because Ayurveda is Astika Darshana. Many may think that what philosophy is being explained in the health science related lectures, but Ayurveda itself is a Astika Darshana. Hence, Astikyata or moksha and karma phala, everything is being included to understand about Vyadhi Nivritti and all. So these are Dhi, Dhairya and Atma Vijnana. There is a word Adi is being placed there. So this Adi Shabda plays very important role. That is Jnana, Vijnana, Smriti, Desha, Kala, etc. should be analyzed. What is good, what is bad, where I should behave like what, and how I should be acting in a places. Say behavior of the person at temple is different, at home is different, at academic area it is different, and with the friend circle it differs. So this discrimination between the desha, between the how I should act. If we are attending some death ceremony, there if we keep laughing, then it is not the sense there. And if we are attending some happy ceremony, enjoying the issue, there if we keep crying, then that has no meaning. So we should be able to discriminate our act, which should be thoughtful and fruitful, so that universally it is accepted. So that is called Adi Shabda, is including all these concepts. So Manodosha Chikitsa is Dhi, Dhairya, Atmadi Vijnanam, Manodosha Aushadham Param. As I had explained the meaning of Param yesterday, Paraha miyate kartratvena asmin dharme iti paramaha. So deep involvement in the assessed duty of everyone's individually involving in deep to the possible and acting accordingly is known as Parama. So these Dhi, Dhairya, Atma Vijnana are Utkrishta Chikitsa Siddhanta for Manasika Doshas. Next, after explaining about Manasika Dosha Chikitsa, Granthakara is narrating about Chikitsa Chatushpada. Bhishak Dravyan Nupasthata Rogi Pada Chatushtayam Chikitsitasya Nirdishtam Pratyekam Tatchaturgunam. So, for Chikitsa Chatushpada, there are 4 limbs of the treatment principle. One Bhishak, Dravya, that is Aushadha, Upasthata, that is Paricharaka or attending nurse or whatever. Then the 4th one is Rogi. Among these 4, why Bhishak is placed in the beginning? Because Bhishak can do the other things. Dravya is definitely there. Sarvam Dravyam Panchabhautikam. All medicines are, all Dravyas in the universe are all medicinal. This is what is known. Sarvam Aushadham Dravyam. Sarvam Dravyam Vyadhi Nashakam. Like that, so many quotations we can find from Subhashita or from Shastra Grantha. But the utility of such Dravyas as a treatment mode in curing the diseases, it is the yukti of a Vaidya. So Vaidya for that reason is placed before Dravya. Now Vaidya is there, Dravya is there. Why Dravya is placed between Bheshaja and Paricharaka? Even Paricharaka is not available or not there, Bhishak with Dravya can treat the diseases. But Dravya is most important than the Paricharaka. So, Dravya is placed before Paricharaka. And Rogi. Sometimes a alone physician may not be able to handle all the cases and their treatment principles. So, there we need assistance or a help. So, for that reason, Paricharaka is also placed at the third level. If all are there, if Rogi is not there, then what is the use of it? So, Rogi is placed at the last. But Vyadhita Avastha, only this is needed, it is not so. To maintain swasthya, because dravya are of three types: shamanam, kopanam, swastahitam, tridha dravyam. So, for maintaining swasthya also, Rutukalina Shodhana is explained, Dinacharya is explained. So, in performing all those, if someone is willing, I am healthy but want to continue my health with this good healthiness, then the person may approach a physician to undergo Shodhanadi Chikitsas. There you need Bheshaja, there you need, that is Dravya is needed, physician is needed, and Paricharaka is needed. He is not Rogi, but still they are needed. But when Rogi is there, before Rogi, for his Roga to get rid, all the previous three are needed. Hence, they are placed in different positions. Now, individually, after explaining about the Bhishak Dravya, Upasthata and Paricharaka, Granthakara is explaining each of these four possess four qualities. So, they are called as Shodasha Kala. Collectively, 4 into 4, 16. So, 4 components of treatment aspect, each carrying 4 individual qualities have been attained. So, that is Dakshas Tirthartha Shastra Drishtakarma Shuchar Bhishak. About Bhishak, he is explaining in the beginning how the Bhishak should be. Generally, we can understand about this. So, person who is having excellent knowledge, who is well read, who is practically exposed, that collectively have been placed in 4 qualities only. They are Dakshaha. Daksha means Karmani Chaturaha. He should be tactful, he should think logically and act logically while performing any therapies or while performing any chikitsa related activities. For example, I'll give you a good example what I have come across in my medical career. There was a patient who was having severe fever. It was Punaravartaka Jwara, but never getting subsided any medicine. He roamed hell a lot. Then the Vyadhi was treated by some other means. Jwara Chikitsa is, the principle is, if Sweda Pravritti takes place properly, then Jwara Nivritti takes automatically. That is what is basic principle. So, the physician thought of it, and what was advised was, the patient was asked to perform some yajna, which is Daivapashra Chikitsa also. So, yajna was advised to perform, and in the yajna, the sticks and indhana used were all medicinal, like amruta, vata, tvacha, such Ushnaviratmaka dravyas were being used, and through them the yajna was performed. So, due to the heat generated by the Agni, as well as the medicinal properties of these dravyas used in the yajna, made the person who was sitting as Yajamana for that yajna continuously exposed to that Agni, his sweat glands all opened and all Amajalakshana were drained out in the form of Sweda. This is what is practiced. So, utility of yajna as a treatment principle in Punaravartaka Jwara or Asadhya Jwara is yukti. He should be chatura to perform such activities, such creativity, such other Broadway thinking, and insisting the patient to receive all those and get rid of Vyadhi. So, this is all is known as Dakshaha. Then, Tirthartha Shastra Artho, that meaning is, he should be studied, he should have studied the science of Ayurveda from the ancestors who are Vaidyas for long periods, whose family is from Vaidya family, and should have studied it deeply. So that is called Tirthartha. Tirtha Shabda is given to the the person who is at the top level. For example, father, Tirtha Rupi Maya Pitaha. So Tirtha Rupi Maya Guruhu, Tirtha Rupi Maya Prapitaha, Pitamaha, like that. Tirtha is seniors or ancestors. So Tirthartha Shastrartha. So what they have understood, from there, from them, the person should understand about the science. Then Dushtakarma Shuchirbhishak. Drishtakarma Shuchirbhishak. Drishtakarma is the Granthakara explains Abhyasta Karma Shata Shasta Abhyasta Karma Shata Shash Chikitsa Chikitsita Rogaha. So he should have exposed to many of the practically performed procedures. Many physicians, they know theoretical background of Vamana, but if have you performed, if someone asks, then they say no. So Vamana, how to carry out? If person is having a very fussy mind, by seeing some dirt area, if he is feeling nauseatic and that all, that history must be collected. If Vamana Dravya is not acting, Vamana Dravya, if it is not at all acting, then just take that patient after Akanta Snayapana and make him sit in the area near the garbage. By seeing that atmosphere itself, he starts vomiting. So it is Chardi induced by the Vatavarana itself. So these all principles adopted, logically thought, logically adopted by many Vaidyas through their practice, in due course of practice. So he should have attended such all principles, so that which can be used in his practical life. Shuchihi Bhishak. He should be Shuchi from all the angles. Not only just washing hands and cleaning the apparatus, whatever is used, but he should be Shuddha and Shuchi from talk, from mind and from body also. So these are the qualities of Vaidya to possess, and such Vaidya who possesses all these qualities is called Shrestha Vaidya. Next is about the Dravya. Bahukalpam Bahugunam Sampannam Yogyam Aushadam. Bahukalpam, the single drug should be utilized and modulated to different yogas, so that can be utilized. For example, if palliability of Churna is not possible, then the Dravya should possess a quality wherein which can be used with some other palliable Dravyas. For example, Abhayadi Modakam. Abhayadi Modakam should be taken as a Modaka only. The dry grapes should be soaked in water in the previous night, and morning it should be smashed, and the duff should be prepared. Within that, the Abhayadi Modakam is placed, or the tablet or the Gulika is placed of the Abhayadi, and that should be swallowed as it is. So it is giving the good taste of Draksha, but taking out the bad taste of Abhayadi Dravyas or the Gulika, whatever is consumed as it is, but doing its function. Draksha itself is a Virechaka Dravya. Along with Abhayadi Modaka or Abhayadi Gulika is placed, so that takes the fear of bad taste of the Dravyas. So it should have different formulations, so that can be utilized. For example, Madanaphala. In Charaka Kalpasthana first chapter, about Madanaphala yogas have been narrated. Few are Ghre yogas. By just smelling the Madanaphala Sadhita Kamala Pushpa, the person gets vomiting. Then Shashkuli are prepared, Apupa are prepared, Churna is there, Lehe is there, Namanita is there, Fanta is there. Like that, different formulations, a single drug should be able to formulate it, so that the palliability is also increased and its action is achieved as it is desired. So that is Bahukalpam. Bahugunam Sampannam. Another meaning is, for Bahukalpa, it should not be like Lavana. Lavana you cannot do Churna of it. Lavana you cannot do Kashaya out of Lavana. Lavana Kashaya is not there. Lavana Ghrata is very rarely used. So unlike Lavana, the Dravya should be possessing different appearance with which the treatment can be achieved. So Bahugunam, it should possess excellent qualities. Say only Ushna Guna is present in this, so that is used only in Shita Prashamana or Shita related Vyadhis. Only Shita Guna it can tackle. No, it should not be. It should possess multiple gunas like Gurvadis, then Ushna Tikshna Viryas, Ushna Shita Viryas, then Vipaka it should possess. So that is the Dravya which possesses multiple gunas, and it should be used in multiple diseases. If someone says Yashtimadu is best in epilepsy, is Yashtimadu used only in epilepsy? No, it is used as Fanta and used in women also. Yashtimadu is used in Jwarachikitsa also. So it should be possessing multiple gunas so that the same drug can be used for multiple purposes. Bahugunam Sampannam Yogyam Aushadam. It should possess all these collectively, and it is present in it. So such dravya should be uttered as the best one. Anurakta Shuchir Daksho Buddhiman Paricharakaha. Anurakta is Dridabhaktaha Aturasya. It is the Tika explaining. So Anurakta means he should have complete attention as if he is treating his own child. So Paricharaka must be so attached to the patient and his health. He should have a good concern about the relief of that disease of the deceased one. So that is called as Anuraktaha. Shuchihi, again Kaika, Vachika, Manasika Shuchitva is also needed for this thing, what Paricharaka. Then Dakshaha, he should act accordingly. If some physician says prepare the Bastidra Niruhakalpa, then he should know what are the order, what should be added first, how much it should be triturated, in what angle it should be triturated. That all he should have the knowledge. So that is called as Dakshaha. Then Buddhiman Paricharaka. Buddhiman he should have the knowledge of science and knowledge of disease both. So then only he can act accordingly. The doctor prescribes. Sometimes he writes some prescription which is unable to read. But the shop vendor, if he gives some different medicine, then he should possess the knowledge of that, whether that dravya can be used in this condition or not. So he should possess minimal knowledge at least about the vyadhi as well as aushada. Then about the rogi, there are again 4 qualities that they are adhyaha, bhishagvashyaha, jnapakaha, sattvavan. So adhya means the deceased one should be so rich enough, he should be wealthy enough so that he can pay the consultation of the physician. Without paying the consultation free of cost, no one should receive the treatment. That is what is believed as a tradition or orthodox behavior by the ancestors. But that amount was not fixed. So it depends on the yogyata of Vaidya, yogyata of Dravya utilized, and the Vyadhi Swarupa. So based on the Rogi should be able to pay the consultation for the doctor. Then Bhishak Vashyaha. If the patient comes to you and whatever you advised, if he is not able to listen to you and he doesn't want to follow whatever you say, no sir, I cannot take Basti Chikitsa, I have to go to office early in the morning, I cannot take Vamana Chikitsa because I cannot get up early in the morning. Like that if he is telling, then he is not Bhishak Vashya, he is not listening to you. Then that Rogi, if even he continues to take treatment somehow, then there will not be any fruitful result. So he should be Bhishak Vashyaha. Jnapakaha. This is most important guna of a Rogi. He should remember how the disease started, what was the causative factor through which the disease originated, and how long the disease was persisting. So he should have good memory to narrate all this, and Sattvavanapi. He should have excellent dhairya. So with that only the Rogi is said best, so that his Vyadhi gets relieved earliest. Then Sadhyo Asadhya iti Vyadhihi Dvidha Tautu Punardvidaha. So Vyadhi of any type is based on Sadhya and Asadhya, that is possibility and impossibility. This nature they are divided into two, that is Sadhya Vyadhis and Asadhya Vyadhis. This Sadhya and Asadhya are again divided into two each. The Sadhya is divided as Sukha Sadhya and Kashta Sadhya. The Asadhya is divided as Yapya and Anupakrama. So its narration is being explained in the next quotations. Susadhyaha Kritrasadhyascha Yapyo Yascha Anupakramaha Sarvoshadha Kshame Dehe Yunaha Punso Jitatmanaha Amarmago Alpahetva Agra Rupo Anupadravaha Atulya Dushya Deshahatu Prakritihi Pada Sampadi Griheshu Anuguneshu Ekadosha Margo Nama Namaha Sukhaha. So Sukhasadhya Vyadhi Lakshana are being narrated. They are Sarvaushada Kshame Dehe. His body, the Vyadhita, should possess a body wherein he can tolerate all types of treatment modalities. Maybe Aushada Prayoga, Shastra Karma, Agni Karma, and all. He should be able to tolerate all those. Then Yunaha means he should be young and energetic. The young person are having Uttama Bala, Deha Bala is Uttama, so Vyadhi Shamana takes place easily. So Punso, it is explained only as Punso, na Stri, or Samanyataha Manushyanam is not used. He used, the Granthakara is used the word Punsaha. Punsaha iti Purushaha. Why Purusha Gata Vyadhi are said Sukha? Then does it give the meaning by Arthapati Tantra Yukti, whether it is saying, whether the Granthakara is saying that Stri are unable to fall under the criteria of Sukha Sadhya? No, it is not like that. The Punsa, why they have used is their courage and dhairya is more, and they always have exposure or withstanding capacity for the treatment modalities, which comparatively females do not have. So Punso word has been used. Jitatmanaha, he should have control over all his sensory aspects. Then Amarmagaha, it should not be present in Sadhyo Maraniya, Sadhyo Prana Hara Maranama, and such Kalantara Prana Hara Marma, such Marma Siddha Vyadhi it should not be, like Basti, Hridaya, Kantha, Nabhi, Shira, and such places wherein if you even treat, then the getting rid of the Vyadhi becomes difficult. Amarmagaha, Alpahetuhu, it should be with minimal causative entities. Agra Rupaha, Alpa Hetuhu, Alpa Agra Rupaha. Agra Rupa is, Agra is Purva, or the previous or the first. So Agra Rupa is nothing but Pura Rupa. It should possess minimal Pura Rupa Lakshanas. Then Rupaha, Alpa Rupaha, Alpa Lakshana Yuktaha. Then Anupadravaha, there should not be any Upadrava related to that Vyadhi. Then Adulya Dushya Deshaha tu Prakritihi Pada Sampadi. It should not be having present from different causes, or Adulya Desha. It is explained. Then Pada Sampadi Graheshu Anuguneshu Ekadosha Margo Namaha. It should not be present, or it should not have the Roga Marga of different nature. Trividha Roga Marga have been narrated, Abhyantara, Madhyama, and Bahya Roga Marga. It should have only Ekadosha Marga, and only one dosha should be involving. If one dosha is involved, then Aushada availability is more and its action is more. Like Prameha, Mahatteyatvat, Samakriyatvat, Vishamakriyatvat, Mahatteyatvat. So like that, if Prakriti and dosha and marga are one, then the treatment principle is very easy. Namaha, it should not be long standing Vyadhi wherein it becomes difficult to break the Samprapti whatever is already formed with that Nidana Sevana. So that becomes Kashta Sadhya. But Nava Vyadhi is always Sukha Sadhya. Such Vyadhi which possesses all these qualities is called as Sukha Sadhya Vyadhi. Shastradi sadhanaha krichraha sankare cha tatogadaha. Shastra adi sadhanaha. Shastra adi shabda indicates Shastra, Kshara and Agni. Ityadi sadhanena, if Vyadhi is being treated, then it is known as Kashta Sadhya Vyadhi. For example, surgical intervention is needed, but if the surgical intervention is done, then Vyadhi, if it is getting relieved, then that is called as Kashta Sadhya Vyadhi. Krichraha Sankaraha. Vyadhi Sankara is collective of multiple diseases or multiple Lakshanas. So, comparatively to Sukha Sadhya Vyadhi, if more Lakshanas, more Hetu, more Upadrava are present, comparatively, then that is known as Krichra Sadhya Vyadhi. Then, Sheshatvad Asho Yapyaha Patyabhyasad Viparyaye. Here, the importance of Tika plays very important role. Why so many shlokas and so many Tika explanations are given for simple quotations wherein by just the mere Mula Shabdas we can understand the meaning. But Sheshatvad Ayusho Yapyaha Patyabhyasad Viparyayaha. So if These are the qualities for Yapya Vyadhi. Then what exactly the meaning Sheshatvad Ayusho Yapyaha? Then for that explanation is given. बाहुल्येन विपर्यये साध्य लक्षण विपरीतत्वे सत्यायुषो जीवितस्य शेषत्वात् क्षीणत्वान् मानः आयुहुम असमर्थः. So shesha ayu, if very old age person is there and if he is already jirna by vayaha and vyadhi is affected, in such person the agni and other activities in the deha are not in a samasthiti. Like dosha, dushya, mala, agni, manas, everything is not in stable entity. So there the chikitsa becomes difficult. Hence it is called as yapya. Sheshatvad ayushaha. Then pathya ahara viharaihi yapyo yapaniyaha nasau pratyakheyaha. Edavan eva asya pratyakhyayat vaishisho yadayuhu sheshatvam yapyasya vyadhehe ayuhu sheshamatram varjayitvaha. So if jivana itself is very minimal, now he is at the jirna avastha and he may die in 1 or 2 duration, very minimal duration, he is going to end his life. Then if vyadhi comes to him, then even if you try to attempt for the treatment, then that becomes difficult. So hence it is called shesh. At the end level of the ayu, if vyadhi is coming, then that becomes yapya vyadhi. Then sa cha chikitsaya alpam sukham dhatva punah. So अल्पेनैव हेतुना प्रदन्यते तथा च ग्रन्थे दत्ताल्पं सुखमल्पेन हेतुना सा प्रदन्यते याति नाशेषतां रोगाः कर्मजा नियतायुषाः. If it is karmaja vyadhi and alpayu, if he is already due to his purvajanma krita karma, then even vyadhi, if it is simple, that vyadhi also becomes very difficult for the treatment. And one more understanding what we can draw out of this is the Granthakara also narrates, a few Tikakaras throw light on such concepts. If Vyadhi is present and Aushadha is also available for that, but readily if Aushadha is not available, say Aushadha is present at Himalaya, then you are at somewhere in the Dakshina Pradesha, then getting, by the time we get the Aushadha, that Vyadhi will attain Upadravadi Lakshanas and becomes impossible for the treatment. So such explanations are also available for Yapya and Asadhya Vyadhis by Tikakaras. Next is Anupakramaha. Anupakrama evasya sthito atyanta viparyayaha outsukya moha aratikrat dushtarishtoksha nashanaha. Anupakrama Vyadhi is one wherein all indriyas are functioning viparita to their assigned one. Drushti is lost and ghrana is unable to take the smell, and it is, if it is associated with outsukya, moha, arati ityadi arishta lakshana, which are explained as maranasanna, if such vyadhis are present, such lakshanas are seen, arishta lakshana yukta vyadhi, then that vyadhi becomes totally impossible for the treatment and it is categorized under anupakramaha. So such explanations are being highlighted for vyadhi to discriminate between sadhya and asadhya. If sadhya, sukha sadhya or kashta sadhya. If asadhya, then yapya or anupakrama. So such bifurcation must be done for every vyadhi by every physician, and talk to the patient as well as patient relative what you are going to do. If you do this and start your treatment, then the belief on you and your treatment principle will be enhanced, so that vyadhi gets rid of that particular person easily. Otherwise, if the person is not aware of what the treatment you are doing, and if the treatment is somewhat funny, many of the patients come to Ayurvedic doctors for the treatment after attaining so many allopathic treatments or some other system of medicines. If suddenly you say that Agni Karma I am going to do, I am going to burn you at the area below the knee for the back pain, then he will say pain is at the back. Some allopathic surgeon said that he will operate at the back, and you are saying you will do Agni Karma at this. and you are saying you will be doing at Mausatagda Vrana you are creating, and that is how the treatment is getting acting. So this all question or the thought will be always circulating in the patient's mind. So you should be explaining what are your treatment principles, how it is going to help him briefly. Then the patient gains the confidence on you, and you will be gaining the confidence on patient. So Vishwasaha Phaladayakaha can be achieved. So you should be explaining the patient about the disease and treatment to the brief, so that patient is considered for the confidence. Next is Tejedartam Bhishak Bhupaihi Dvishtam Tesham Dusham Dusham Hina Upakaranam Vyagram Avidheyam Gatayusham Chandam Shokaturam Bhirum Kritagnam Vaidyamaninam. The physician should reject some patients. Who are the patients? What are the qualities they possess, wherein the doctor has to reject that patient from the treatment? That is being explained. Tejet Ardam Bhishak Bhupaihi Dvishtam. Bhishak is the person who is always hating the Bhishak, the person who is hating the Raja, king, and person who is being hated by Vaidya as well as king. So such person who is hating either the patient hating to the Raja and the Vaidya, or Vaidya and Raja are hating this patient, then that patient should not be treated. He should reject for the treatment. Then Hina Upakaranam, if the Vaidya at that moment is not fully equipped with whatever the material required for the treatment, then that patient should be Tejer. Vyagram Avidheyam. Avidheyam, if he is not Upakara Smarani about the Vaidya and about the Aushada, then Pratyupakara, if he is not doing Smarana of Upakara, whatever the physician is doing for that particular situation, then such patient should be rejected from the treatment. Then Vyagram is due to his own karma or the work schedule. If he is saying objecting for every treatment timing and every treatment activity, then such patient is not Bhishakya and he should be rejected. Avidheyam. Avidheya is Bhishajaha Tadadnyam yo na karoti tam api tyajet. Tadadnya, whatever the doctor advises, if he is not following, then he is avidheya to the Bhishak's words. So such patient should be neglected from the treatment. Gatayusham. Always the person who should be rejected for the treatment, the one who is already presenting with Arishtadi Lakshanas. So that is Gatayusham. Chandam. Chandam is Krura Karmanam. If he is not in a position to have patience, or if he is creating some trouble to the physician itself, like what we see in the present scenario, that doctors are being beaten while they are treating the deceased one. So such patient should be rejected from the treatment. Chandam Shokam Aturam Bhirum. So Shokaturam is if he is always crying about the disease. A small disease will be there, they will consider it as a very big entity, and they keep thinking over it and they start crying about it. So such patient will never listen to the doctor's advice. He keeps thinking. So Chinta Ityadi Kriya will be continuously done. Why it is rejected? So if the person is not able to listen to the physician and if he is not able to act accordingly, then if he continuously thinks about the present scenario, whatever he is suffering with, that Chintadi, Bhayadi will lead to Dosha Prakopa in the body. When Dosha Prakopa takes place, the physician is trying to do Shamana of Prakopita Dosha already, and upon that, if Nidana Sevana, that is Chintadi or Nidana for Dosha Prakopa, if he continues, then Vyadhi becomes Asadhya or Prabhuta Prakopita Doshas, and there the treatment becomes difficult for the diseased one as well as for the treating physician. So such patient should always be rejected. Kritagnam, if he is not Kritadnya or if he is not feeling or if he is not giving out the consultations to the physician or the treatment principle, if he is not doing smarana of the upakara, whatever the physician and the aushadha dravya are doing, then such patient must be rejected from the treatment. Vaidyamaninam, if he considers himself as Vaidya, say if Vaidya is suffering with some Vyadhi, though he knows whatever the treatment is for that, still he is not allowed to take the treatment. He should attend some other physician and get the disease treated from other physician. That is what is said. While doing so, if the patient who is Vaidya basically says, no, I know it, I am a doctor, why are you giving this, why are you doing that, then the treatment is not fruitful. So such person who feels himself as Vaidya should also be rejected from the treatment principle. So after collectively saying about whoever to be considered for the treatment, what are the qualities of Sukhasadhya, Kashtasadhya and everything, now at the conclusion, Granthakara is doing Tantrasyasya param chato vakshate adhyaya sangraha. So as a sangraha of all adhyayas in different sthanas of this particular Ashtanga Hridaya is being narrated or enlisted at the end, and there the chapter ends. So Granthakara explains or the list outs all the chapter names of Sutrasthana, Nidanasthana, Sharirasthana, Chikitsasthana, then Kalpasthana, Siddhisthana and Uttaratantra also being narrated. So like this 120 chapters are being enlisted with their names at the end, and there the chapter ends. So why this type of explanation which is seen nowhere in any other samhitas about the enlisting of all the chapters is being narrated here is the question comes. So Ashtanga Hridaya is a sort of literary research, it's a sort of observational research, or it may be a clinical research also. So whatever is explained in the first chapter, that becomes as an abstract. Abstract is collectively what you are going to do in the future study is being highlighted in a minimal words. So first chapter of Ashtanga Hridaya Sutrasthanam is like abstract. So next all whatever is being explained in the Sutrasthan, they are all introductory part or literary part. What should be done, what should not be done. Then comes Sharirasthana, which is also a literary. Then comes the Nidanasthana, wherein you are enlisting the data that comes in research methods or materials and methods. Then Chikitsasthana is also coming. That Chikitsasthana is nothing but treatment principles, which also comes in materials and methods. Then comes the Siddhisthana and Kalpasthana. They are the medicine preparations, formulation and dosage and utility. That all can be included under the materials and methods. Then is the Uttaratantra and others can be thought as discussion and conclusion. Though Uttaratantra narrates about Urdhva-Jatru Vikaras, but that all the concepts of Urdhva-Jatru are also being narrated in Sutrasthana also somewhere to maintain Nasya, to clear the Murdhagata Vikara and all. So like this, starting from abstract till conclusion, we can understand the sthana wise, chapter wise, each Samhita of Ayurveda, which is a base entity to say that the Ayurveda is just not a it is not being recorded as a script, but it is scientifically studied and proved facts. Whatever is being done by the scholars, that itself is being noted and documented. So this says that the whole Samhita or whole Ayurveda is scientifically studied and analyzed, and that is what is documented. So this ends the first chapter. Ityadhyaya shatam vyushi shadbhihi sthanaihi udiritam iti Shri Vaidya Patihi Simhagupta Sunu Vagbhata Virijitayam Ashtangridaya Samhitayam Sutrasthane Ayushkamiyo Nama Prathamo Adhyayaha. Here ends the first chapter of Ashtangridaya Sutrasthan. Tomorrow we'll be studying about the second chapter, that is Dinacharya. So first chapter I purposefully took a lot of time, about 4 classes I took to complete the first chapter, because I wanted to give the basic information regarding this. So hereafter we'll move a little fast. Wherever deep explanation is needed, definitely I'll give. I'll try to analyze as much possible to the deeper extent. But wherever it is superficially can be understood, where broad sense is not that needed, there we'll skip and try to go ahead for the further chapters. Thank you for patient listening. Any queries you can drop into the comment box. I'll try to answer for all those. थैंक यू। अनेन भावी यत् पुण्यं तदाप्नोतु गुरुर्मम।